Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to our Sunday morning coffee house. Today, Russell and I are zooming in from Maine, South Portland, Maine, and it's absolutely gorgeous up here. We're visiting friends that we haven't seen in a long time. So on behalf of the Center for Functional Nutrition, I welcome you all, and I will hand the coffee house over to Brian. Brian?
Thank you, Megan, and thank you everyone for joining us on our Sunday morning coffee house, where we get to connect and create and collaborate together to be a force for good in the world. And as I look out and see all your amazing faces, I'm just truly honored and humbled to be creating this time with you that will have an impact beyond this live event, far beyond this live event. So I'm absolutely thrilled to be introducing our honored guests and speakers today. We have Cathryn Taylor, who is the author of the international book, The Inner Child Workbook. She is the mother of inner child work. She is an extraordinary human, as well as being an extraordinary professional in the space of helping people, which she has done for over 40 years. And she's also an incredibly dear friend, mentor, guide. I love you, Cathryn. Thank you for everything you do for me and for many, many others. And we also have her colleague, Laura Ocampo, who is an exceptional yoga master. And again, someone I have met in person who was very dear and sweet. And I'm excited to get to know you more. And I'm just gonna pass the torch to you both, because I know that we have short time and we have a lot of value to give. So before you dive in, for those that may not know each of you, maybe just give us a quick tour of who Cathryn is and who Laura is, and then let's dive in.
Well, thank you, Brian. And well, as Brian said, I have dedicated my life to working with the wounded part within us, and I've added a lot of different things to that modality. Most specifically, I've expanded it not only to the wounded inner child, but really using that as a gateway to the wounded fragments of our soul. So a lot of my work via the use of the Akashic records is to get the context of what's not working. And then I'm also certified and trained in EFT tapping, which you're going to do a little bit today, and the energy therapy of TRE, and everything else that I can throw in the mix, which you're going to get introduced to a little bit today. I use anything I can to help the people that I come in contact with to work with their wounded self so that it can expand and grow into the higher self. And the more we align with our higher self, the more we align in the physical and the non-physical worlds, which is what my latest passion is. And I'm excited that Laura and I get to work together again. Before the pandemic, we were combining our efforts and doing a gathering that was EFT and then yoga and then TRE. We don't get to do the TRE today, but we are going to do a solstice ceremony, which we're going to invite you to walk through it with us. I'm going to do it on behalf of the group and set the intention from summer solstice to fall equinox, which I think is when we're going to be picking this back up. But I'm going to also give you the instructions that you can do it with us today, but you'll also be able to do it as your own solstice. And then Laura is going to bring in her brilliance of helping us anchor it into not only our physical body, but then we'll be helping you to take it and make an offering to Mother Earth. So it's a beautiful combination of our talents. We practically finish each other's sentences. It's just seamless the way we work together. And so it's been really exciting to bring her in to the equinox and the solstice ceremonies. And Laura, do you want to say a little bit about you before we start the ceremony?
Hi, I'm Laura Ocampo. Yeah, I just had the wonderful pleasure of being able in this last couple of years to work with Cathryn. I come from the almost the opposite end of that. And that was that I was a martial artist of 30 some years. And I had been a gymnast and a speed skater, and everything was physical, and I had my discipline was physical, and I strived and pushed and did everything. And then I hit a brick wall. And when I hit my brick wall, it was a combination of many different physical ailments, from cancer to multiple chemical sensitivity to all of the injuries I had in my body. And so mine was actually coming, Cathryn's came from the psychological and the emotional. Mine came from, I literally became the wounded healer. So I had to heal myself first. And then I worked into, so it started with yoga. And then I went into cranial sacral work. And then I found myofascial work. And then I found this wonderful dynamic body balancing, which brings cranial and sacral and myofascial work. And then all of that I introduced into my yoga. And then Cathryn and I started working together. I still had so much healing left to do. Tapping helped, the TRE helps, the traumas that were there. So what we found is that the body is a huge part of people's healing. And that sometimes you have to go into the body as well as the emotional and the psychological and the spiritual. So there's that kind of balance thing. And when we think of 4 elements, we'll be using in the ceremony, there's elements to our healing and to our ascension and to our growth as well. So that's kind of how I got involved with Cathryn, and then hopefully the little bit that I get to add to Cathryn's brilliance is just one more piece in the puzzle. And sometimes for some people, the physical, going into the physical part of it is an important part.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm going to hand it back to Cathryn, and we'll.
I concur with what you're saying, because one of the things I've always said is that our body is our most loyal provider, and it's constantly in service. And whatever we don't emotionally work out, that's what post-traumatic stress is. And what post-traumatic stress disorder is we go through a trauma and we're surviving it. The post part of it is when we're trying to make sense of it. And that's where so many are at now, coming out of the pandemic and moving back into where we're going. And so the astrology has really aided to that, because we've had these eclipses and we're at the end of Mercury retrograde, and now we're being just penetrated with this light, and more light is coming onto the planet. And so that I don't think you can separate the emotional and the physical. You just can't separate it. And so Laura and I have the perfect marriage, not only what we offer, but for each other. We are part of each other's self-care. She takes care of my body, and I use the tapping and stuff to equal out the emotion. So, and Russell, you've spent your whole life, professional life, really anchoring in the body. So all of those, you just can't separate it. You just can't separate it. So today we really want to honor summer solstice, which actually is today. A lot of times it's the 21st, but today it's, I think, 11:32 Eastern time tonight, 10:32 Central, where many of us are. And I just did a meditation with Alicia Power, who, if you read the book that I wrote about my brother and our continued relationship, Alicia was a major contributor to the non-physical meditations that my brother John and I did, him on that side of the veil and me on this one. And the whole meditation was with her spirit surgeons, and it was an affirmation that the light is winning, which I think is profound for today, because we're coming out of all of that lockdown and coming into this just swirl of light that we can capture, and we're going to need it. And what's beautiful about this solstice is that it is seasoned with the planet of Jupiter, and the planet of Jupiter promises success. It holds the invitation to be creative, and there's 3 things that it suggests. One is to set intentions, to perform gratitude lists, and to operate with self-care. And all of those we're going to weave into kind of just a structured walkthrough of how you can do that. So I'm hoping that this ceremony will take you into the last 10 days of Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde is a time we get about 3 of them a year. And this one has been a real pain for many of us. I mean, what could go wrong, did go wrong. And it just kicked up a lot of stuff because we were between those two eclipses, the solar and the lunar, which illuminated everything. But again, what's beautiful now astrologically is we have the next 10 days of cleanup. And what that means is we can capture the light that the light is winning, not only on our planet, not only with all the unrest that's on our planet, but with the unrest that's within us. And so what we want to do in our ceremony today is help you set the intention. And in this group, what I love is that I think we have one more next week, and then there's the summer break. Is that accurate, Brian and Megan and Russell? Okay. And then you're going to pick it back up in the fall. Right. So there's 2 solstices, the summer and the winter, and 2 equinoxes. With the solars, then today we have the most light. The winter one is where we have the shortest day. But the equinoxes is where we have equal light and dark. And so what I want to use this for the group is to set our intention to take us all bridging through the summer and to hold that mandala that we've all created since April 12th. And we're going to start with that. We're going to start with the meditation and a little tapping that takes all the energy of everyone who has ever participated in this and the core group that has held it from April 12th and hold that in the mandala in the unseen until we all meet again officially in the fall at the equinox. Probably before, but we'll ceremonialize it at the equinox. So to begin with, I'd like to have you close your eyes and come into the center of your being and feel that light that's within you. That summer solstice that's bursting within your own center. And imagine that light extending all the way down to your feet, all the way up to your crown chakra, extending out about 9 to 18 inches around your physical form. And then imagine that column of light that you've created around you extends all the way up 60 feet above your crown chakra to the grid of unconditional love, unconditional regard. And then imagine as your light and your column extends up there, that all the columns, everyone who's ever attended this coffee house, whether they're physically present now or not, that their energy and their light column begins to bend ever so slightly. So we create this mandala of energy that keeps the vibration of the coffee house available to us to draw from, whether we're meeting every Sunday or not. And that's available to us. And it's available to the planet because we take that mandala of healing and we make an offering to the mandala of healing that the light workers on the other side and the light workers on the planet are contributing to heal humanity. We have access to it and we have contributed to it. So having set that intention, I'm going to lead you through a little tapping sequence. If you've never done it, I just invite you to do what I do and say what I say. I love that sense of power that I have when I can say that. But just trust me. And your psyche, your divine wisdom will know exactly what to do with the words. Tapping is an energy therapy which is working on the endpoints of the meridians, and it neutralizes whatever would get in the way, whatever wounds hold us in sabotage. It neutralizes that so we can come into this ceremony full-hearted. So we start by just coming to the karate this part and just tap. And we're stimulating this electrical impulse. And we're setting the intention. So just repeat after me. Even though I still have some dissonance, I have a part of me that's ready to move into this alignment, this love alignment with all that is, with this coffee house gathering community, with the humanity at large, and with all those in the non-physical who are there to support and bridge. So even though I may have some wounded ones that fear coming into the light, today I proclaim that the light within me, within this group, within humanity, within the bridge between the seen and unseen, is winning. And I'll be able to bring those wounded ones back home to the light. Now that was setting our intention. Now we're going to do just one quick round to anchor that in. We tap on the corner of the eyebrow, side of the eye, under the eye, upper lip, lower lip, collarbone, under the arm, wrist, top of the head. And we'll put just a short phrase and go around it one more time. Any of my wounded ones, any fears, sources of shame, grief, regret, I now neutralize, surround it with the light, offer it to the angels so that I can come into love alignment, body, mind, heart, and soul. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so that gets you present. Now we're going to use the element of air through your breath. And I want you to put your left hand on your heart and the palm of your hand on your third eye. And I want you to breathe in, get it adjusted. Breathe into your heart and out your third eye. We're coming into heart, mind coherence. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. And while you continue breathing, we would like to invite you to just set your intention, what you'd like to create in this next season, what you're grateful for as you breathe in and you breathe out, using the element of air, the breath of God, to solidify that intention, to give form to that for which you're grateful. And take a cleansing breath and rub your hands together. And then if you have a piece of paper and a pen, I'd like to have you just take a moment, take your phone and put it into your messages. Just capture whatever you want to capture. Real briefly, what your intention is and anything that you're grateful for. And you're using again the element of earth by using the paper. You can certainly add to this later, just enough to walk through this ceremony. And then I'm kind of trusting that everybody has their water. I don't think we can be part of this group without having our water nearby. So I'm going to introduce you to one of my first little treats that I got for my birthday. And I don't know if you can see it, but this is a Vortex water container. And I put it on this, and it creates this vortex. And it creates a cellular structure, much like Emoto's work, where whatever intention we put into this. So on behalf of the group, the intention I'm putting in to get us from here till September is the intention of love alignment with everything and for everyone. So what I invite you to do is whatever you want to intend in your water, I'm going to transfer this to this, but we're going to use the element of water not only to consume, to hydrate, but to take this water. I've infused it here. I invite you to take your water, put your hands on the water, and infuse it with whatever your intention is. And what you're doing is you're changing the vibrational structure of the water just with your intention. And then when you feel complete, just hydrate with a little bit of this infused water. And then we use the element of fire. And you take whatever you've written or whatever you're going to write. I have my little burning bowl here. And you just put it to flame. And the reason you do this is because the actual art of burning it changes the form. It sends through the smoke your intention to all of your guardians in the unseen. It takes it back to the great mystery. And while this is burning and while the ashes are kind of being created, I'm going to hand it over to Laura, who's going to help us anchor this in to our earth body. So now we're using the element of earth.
I think we'll be able to do most of this seated. Some of it might work better standing, but I think we'll just do it seated. That way we just all kind of stay anchored into this place here. I would like to ask you though to move the flesh away from the sit bone. So go a little side to side from sit bone to sit bone and really get that you can take your sit bones and anchor them down. One of the things I really love visuals. And whether I'm in a standing practice or a down dog or a seated practice, as we're doing right now, it's kind of nice to think of the visualization of I'm going to plug in my lamp. So what do? I take the plug and I put it into the electrical socket. And so we can really think about our sit bones as anchoring down into the earth and being totally connected and anchored into the earth. Then let's take the hands, place them palms down on the thighs. Feel the heat of the hands for a moment, and then allow yourself to take your hands and just lightly bring the texture of circles on the thighs. You can close your eyes, be connected to that electrical socket into the earth, and now create a little bit of tactile touch. Now reverse the circles so that you are going in a counterclockwise circle. Feel that touch, the lightest of touch of the palms on the thighs. Now reverse one way and then the other. A moment ago, Cathryn talked about a vortex. And when we're starting to move inside the body here and just kind of anchor down, think when you're doing circles one way and then the other of that vortex. But now think of it energetically and start to bring it up the spine. So even though the circles at the moment are on the hands on the thighs and your eyes are closed and you're energetically plugged into the earth, think about this kind of circular vortexic energy building. Allow it to go up the spine. And you can reverse the circles one way and then the other, and you can slowly imagine that air vortex is going up the spine. And then let's pause. And just like we energetically plugged our sit bones deep into the earth, do the same thing with the feet and then with the hands. Staying within the body now, let's elevate the shoulders up to the ears. Just allow them. If you think of an elevator, the shoulders are elevating up. They almost feel like they're independent of the rest of the body. And then right back down. Elevate the shoulders up into the ears. Just let yourself inhale and elevate, and then exhale and descend. And inhale and elevate. And exhale and descend. See if you can go to the very top floor this time, both with your inhale and with your shoulders. Like, could they just reach that top floor and then descend? And anchor down into that bottom floor. Physically, let's come back to the soles of the feet, energetically plugged into the earth. To the right and left sit bone, energetically plugged into the earth. The hands right and left plugged into the thighs. Now, from here, let's take our attention right up to the crown of the head. So we elevated the shoulders, but this is a little different. Think more along the spine. Now imagine that the crown of the head is actually a drawbridge, and that your bridge could separate right at the crown of the head and kind of open up. So when the bridge opens up, and we think about this light that is being anchored into the earth right now, and how we can be infused with this light and then shine this light. So allow yourself to be fully energetically anchored to the earth, and now open completely to the light that is being infused. It is being infused at this time. We're lucky enough to be here right now and being connected to that. And just a few breaths here. Think as you're inhaling, rise up like you're reaching for the light. And as you exhale, go ahead and come down and feel anchoring down into the earth. And we're creating that feeling of what is really our reality. Our reality is we are in this body at this moment, at this time on this earth. But we can be open to the universal energy and the light of future, past, everything. So we're being connected to this moment, fully to this body, but being open to that energy. And a few breaths that way. You feel that dichotomy of being fully grounded and fully open. And then let's flutter the eyes open. And take the hands and just kind of circle the wrists and the hands. You know, a little shaking going on here with that energy. Drop, I'm going to mirror. Drop the right hand down, shake it towards the earth, and then connect your thumb and your center finger on your left hand. We're going to do just a little bit of myofascial work, actually. So staying kind of soft and anchored down in this right side and fully anchored down in the feet and the sit bones, turn the wrists towards your center line. And then when we inhale, from that anchoring feeling, lead with the wrist. And when you reach the extension of your arm, kind of drag back to your left sit bone and then just stretch into it a bit. And come back. Shake that hand out. Come on down. Take your center finger and your thumb here. And then turn the wrist inward, the thumb's finger outward, and start to reach across this way. And right when you feel that kind of that solid feeling like I'm stuck, then reach for it. Anchor back in that right sit bone and then just reach for it. And then come back and shake that out. Let's do one more on the left side. Lift up, turn the wrist in and reach. And then as soon as you feel that solid resistance, move into it. Just move into the resistance. Breathe into it. And then come back and shake it out. And then come back again. Here. And reach. And back. Now turn the palms up. Remember, we've got this kind of nice open feeling. Okay, it's the summer solstice. Imagine sun now, not just that bright, energetic white light, that energy light, but now the actual sun. Let's breathe up, open up the heart, open up and reach. Take your thumb together, place your index finger, and then just look up for a moment. Imagine the sun right there. And then pull that into the heart. And then breathe it up. Open up from there. Reach, imagine that you're looking at the sun is right there. And then open it up to all your fellow practitioners here right now. Just really open it up and drop it down. Anchor into the earth. Now breathe, just like we elevated the shoulders, let's elevate the arms and then plant that triangle that you could salute the sun for a moment and bring it to the heart. And then breathe it back up. Open it up. Really kind of feel like you're reaching to each person here that's there, and kind of reach a little side to side and then drop it down. Shake out the wrists again, shake out the hands. And then imagine just kind of a watery feeling here for a moment, as if the arms and hands. Have you ever thought about kind of the elements and how different they all are? And when you pause, that fluidity, like water fluid, it can go anywhere, it can fit in. And the sun and the power, like the action and the power. And we need it all. We need the anchoring, we need the fluidity. When you're thinking a little bit about myofascial work, we're going to do that one more time. You want to bring water in. You want to think about what would that be? Lubricating. That word was lubricating all the tissues for a moment. So let's come back and bring that thumb, and we'll start with the left hand again, right arm down. Make that thumb come across. Now fluid, you are water. You pulled the sun in and now you're water. Reach, 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 reach. But now let's lift it up. Circle it around, come on down, shake it out. Let's bring the right side in here. Here, you've become water. How fluid, how open. Could you like slip in between two rocks? We even think about the earth. Oh my gosh. Think about what water will do. Water will wear down rocks. So even the most solid thing, being fluid, we can come into from there. Okay, so now let's go back and we're going to build a little bit of energy and fire. Place your either your gratitude or your intention or both. Okay, so we're going to do some some breath work where we're thinking about pulling energy in and coming out. This is very simple. You're going to bend your elbows, pull up with your wrists, and breathe. Then press the palms out and anchor down in that energetic sit bones, and then pull it back and bring it down. We're going to do 10 breaths this way. And you can close your eyes or keep them open, but build the energy through breath, through breathing, through the movement. Inhale, bend, exhale out. Inhale back, exhale it down. Breathe it out, then press it out. Literally feel that energy building. Breathe and press. And come back. Feed down. We'll do 2 more of those. And breathe it up. Press it out. And breathe it back. Slide it down. And then we just have 1 more. Breathe it up. Press it out. Breathe it back. Run it down. Now this time, We are going to breathe it up and bring the palms together, but move the thumbs away. And now place your intention, your gratitude, whatever it is, between the palms. Take a few breaths and then bring the palms together. We're going to close our eyes and create our own fire with that there. So rub the hands. Create heat, create fire. You had air, you had earth, you had water. Now fire right here. You're building. When we think of the summer solstice, we're moving, we've built action, we've invited light. We're going to take this intention, this gratitude, and here's your own personal fire, and it's right there. And you're building it, and it's hot, and it's creating. And again, right now, if you haven't closed your eyes, go ahead and close your eyes. You're right at the heart. Move the palms away. And see and feel the energy you created between your hands. Move the hands a little bit towards each other and away. And just feel that intention, that gratitude right there. And maybe you can still see and feel the fire of it. Now, open up that drawbridge at the crown of the head. Open it up and invite the light in. Let it reach and be in that center area, right where your hands are. You're anchored into the earth, so we know that we're doing that right inside our body. Place both hands on the heart. Give yourself a hug and give everyone else that's here and everyone that's been here and the entire world and maybe humanity as a whole a hug. And then slowly bring yourself back. Kind of wiggle the fingers. Come on back. And I'll hand it right on back to Cathryn again.
So what I invite you to do is take that love alignment that Laura has just helped activate in your physical form with all of the elements. And once again, take your bottle of water and re-infuse it. The water is going to be the transmitter, the hydrator. Take one more drink of water. And then for the purposes of the group ceremony, I'm going to take the ashes. And I have a plant here, which you can see. This is my plant that during the winter I put ashes in. During the summer, I usually take it out to Mother Earth, take it off into the Mississippi River. But I take my burning bowl and I take the ashes and I just put them in to Mother Earth like that. And so this plant is going to hold the love alignment for this group through this next season. And then you take some of the water and you make an offering to the earth just by sprinkling it and hydrating and flushing the ashes into the soil. So you've taken your intention, you've taken your gratitude, and by writing it on the paper, it's going to fall down if I'm not careful. By writing it on the paper, you have given yourself a way to transform the energy. With the use of the fire, you released the essence, the energy of your intentions and your gratitude to the higher realms. And now you're taking the ashes and you're making an offering to Mother Earth. So we're going to close with using your breath of life. So again, bring your left hand to your heart and your right hand to your third eye. And just breathe in the intention. Combine it with the gratitude and exhale, offering it to the higher realms, to the light. So breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. One more cycle for heart and mind coherence. Breathing in the energy of the light, releasing any dissonance or sabotage that would eclipse the light. And then bring both hands to your heart. And Laura, you want to complete the ceremony by your ending?
I just want to thank you so very, very much for coming, sharing your time, your beautiful light and energy with us. I'd like to ask that we can move back into our life with a calm mind, with light and compassion in our heart, fully anchored to the earth, and trusting our intuition. Namaste.
Thank you. So now the group intention and the gratitude and all the energy that you each contributed has been ceremonialized and offered to the mandala. And you can draw from that at any point during the summer that you need the comfort and the support that we have all experienced since April 12th of the beginning of this process that's completed. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Cathryn and Laura. That was profound. And gosh, I was getting some very, very distinct images that I've never really seen before. It was quite powerful. And I'm so grateful to have created it with this group. And for you both to have led it was really extraordinary. Thank you both very much. Does anyone have a comment or a question for Laura or Cathryn? Russell, go ahead.
So thank you, Laura, and thank you, Cathryn. But I'd like to go last, Brian. So when we wrap up comments, please let me go. And then, do we have a good news today? I don't think
We're all energied out.
Yeah, so that was wonderful. But I would like to share last. So just keep
Okay. Does anyone else have a comment or question?
Well, I want to you know, sometimes words just don't fit. And I think into this silence, you may hear my words because they come from my heart, my body, and my soul. And I do pray that the intention goes out into the world in all of its fullness. And I thank each and every one of you. And may you go out into this day full of the wonder and light that we have created.
Thank you, Megan. Beautifully said. Yes, Peg. You're on
You
mute.
have to
You're on
unmute.
mute, Peg. The other button. You're still on mute, Peg.
Anyone?
How about this?
There you go.
Okay. Okay. I just want to say amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Peg. Brief and brilliant. I love it. Anyone else with a comment? Donna Coots, please.
Excuse me, I just want to express my appreciation for such a seamless, profound encapsulation of the love and the light that this represents, and to offer it in a way that we're carrying it out in our hearts throughout our absence together. I just really appreciate Laura, you, Cathryn, both of you. It was a full experience, and I'm going to hold on to it. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. Beautifully said. Anyone else with a comment? Beautiful. Okay, Russell, close it down. Close it down, raise it up.
Thanks, Brian. So yesterday seemed to me to be the first day out of the pandemic. For some reason, you know, we've been kind of easing out, but yesterday just felt like a complete blessing. Megan and I were walking along the beach here in South Portland, Maine, and just before we were going to go down a stone stairway back down to the beach, there was a bench, and it said, you know, in memory of a mother and father. And then underneath was this beautiful phrase. And the phrase was, if you are fortunate enough to live by the ocean, you are fortunate enough.
Mm.
And I thought, this is the ultimate gratitude prayer. And then as we were going through this ceremony today, all these other ideas came. If you are fortunate enough to live by the Mississippi River, you are fortunate enough. If you are fortunate enough to live in a valley, you are fortunate enough, and on and on. And I just want to close by saying, if you are fortunate enough to know Cathryn Taylor and Laura Ocampo, then you are fortunate enough. And thank you everyone for being here today. It was a real blessing.
Thank you. I would like to add, if you're fortunate enough to have been drawn to this gathering all through the entirety of it and the continuity of it, you are fortunate enough.
Love it. I love it. Oh my gosh. My gosh. Thank you everyone for creating, connecting, and collaborating to impact not just this space today, but far, far beyond. And as always, please reach out today. Really reach out and connect with people. And it matters today and it matters every day. And thank you for joining today, and see you all very soon. Have a blessed day. Thank you, everybody.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.